Hi guys, welcome to this week's video, which is talking about breakups in quarantine. Now, I posted a video shortly after I came out of a long-term relationship at the start of lockdown, which was in May 2020. It's now 6 months later, and we are November 2020. So yeah, it's been half a year since my breakup, and I wanted to come back and touch base with what I've been doing and where I'm at emotionally, mentally, and physically. Now, I've been a bit quiet on YouTube just simply because life has been hectic, as I'm sure it has been for everybody amongst the pandemic. As you can see, I've perhaps changed ever so slightly. One of the big things that I have done is, appearance-wise, I am returning to blonde, which is my natural hair colour. I was a redhead for 18 months, so I'm in the transitional stages of gradually lightening my hair after having used henna on my hair for so long. I've also had a sleeve tattoo, which was completed in 4 sessions. This was primarily to actually cover up matching tattoos that I had from my previous relationship, which were here and here. And I created something with my tattooist which was incredibly meaningful and beautiful and uplifting and empowering. I have an angel of Angelina Jolie, which is my favourite humanitarian. I have the Libra sign, which is my star sign. I have a Hamza hand, I have a lotus flower, I have chakras, and I have Buddha. And there is a really cool geometric print that runs throughout as the background to my arm, and I just absolutely love it. I love everything about this. So I've had a fair few more tattoos. I'm returning to blonde, and I am studying for my yoga course, which I'm so hyped about, and pushing forward with personal growth and development. Now, when I shared my video shortly after my breakup on my YouTube channel, I will put the link to that video below so that you can see it. I hope in sharing this video now that you can see the difference that it makes so many months down the line after a breakup. At that point, when I posted that video, I was still going through the grieving process, which is something that happens to everybody, whether your dog dies or you're failing in an exam or something, you know. You go through a sense of loss, of anger, of regret, and then bargaining, where you think, well, you know, maybe I can do something about this, maybe I can get it back, maybe I can try again. And then you loop back round, you know, you find happiness, and then you turn back round, and then you start worrying again and stressing. So it's perfectly normal to go through these cycles. To be in a cycle of change, you have to feel every emotion possible to then see where you level out and where you find your feet. So I think, you know, relationship wise, after coming out of a relationship, a long-term relationship, feeling heartbroken, I knew in myself that I needed to spend time alone. I didn't need somebody else to come into my life to see me broken and to say, I'm going to fill the shoes of the person that broke you. Because as far as it's concerned, if you are in a vulnerable state, people can take advantage of that. Equally, you've then met somebody that could be amazing for you, that could love you like none other, but you're not capable of loving them yet because you're still hurting over the past. So it's unfair to enter into a relationship with anybody when you've just come out of a relationship yourself. You need that time period in between to adjust, to reassess, and to break even on your emotions. And that's something that I wholeheartedly felt I needed to do. So I actually stayed single for the majority of this year, actually, which has been amazing because it's allowed me to do what I want, to go where I want, to see my friends again, to spend time with my family, to learn new things, to party like it's 1999. Obviously, then we go into lockdown. We have moments of freedom, and then we're back to being stuck indoors and stay at home. But that in itself has given me the most beautiful memories. Like, I've had the most fun ever in the shortest space of time. It's come from a year of destruction and sadness to then giving me the summer of freedom and love and light, and I would not change that for the world. So I think the way that I dealt with then moving on past a breakup, to get to the point where I feel able to be around somebody with the intention of dating. I actually had to spend time with multiple people, not at the same time, but in the sense that, when you meet somebody, or how I've always met somebody, is to have a list of things that you want in a partner. You have a list of ideals: tall, dark, handsome, educated, funny, kind, generous, all of these things that you could possibly want in somebody. And when you actually meet them, you might be able to tick 3 or 4 boxes. You might say, do you know what, he is really tall, as important as that is to you, maybe it's not, but he's actually really selfish. So yeah, he's not great, but I'll get to know him. And then you get to know them, and then you're in a relationship, and then you get treated like rubbish. And then 8 months down the line, you're heartbroken, and you knew from the get-go that he wasn't right for you. Story of my life. So I always thought that when I've met somebody and gotten well with them, that I will then date them and then spend X amount of time together, whether it's a year of your life or the rest of your life. You never know how long you're going to be with somebody. So that to me actually was a really silly way of dating, because the first person that came along that I got on well with, I would then try to base a future with them. And it's not out of desperation of wanting to be with somebody forever. It's out of the fact that I didn't realize there's a bigger picture. I was raised quite traditionally that you meet somebody, you fall in love, you have a family, you get married, you spend your life together and grow old together. And that really is something from storybooks. It's a fairy tale, a fantasy. It's not real life. So, I settled down at a young age, was engaged to be married, and I had a family. Then became a single parent, and I've kind of just gone for the wrong people in life. I've gone for people that don't treat me well. Obviously, they've been different to my mindset, my morals, and my beliefs. And that has in turn then left me hurt. And when you are hurt, it then affects how you then meet the next person. And even if they're a great person, you're going to be cautious because you're expecting them to hurt you, just like everybody else has ever done to you. And so yeah, that in itself is like a messy bubble of baggage, emotional baggage, life baggage that we all carry around with us from every relationship we've ever had. We still refer back to exes when we look at our current partner, and we think, do we find them as attractive? Are they as suitable for us? Will they behave the same way that ex-partners did? Is there any warning signs that exes have done that we need to pick up on and then act upon? We're always assessing and reverting back. But really what we need to do is close that door on the past. And we need to look at where we are now. Because how we dated in our teens, in our 20s or our 30s is ultimately going to be very, very different to how we date in our 40s, our 50s, our 60s and beyond. So the way that I approach dating this time round as a 30-something year old was different to anything I've ever done before, because I realised I shouldn't just meet somebody that I get on well with and then enter into a relationship with them. I shouldn't do that because you are then seeing one person, one perspective, one option. What you actually need to do, which is what the modern world does, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, is have choice, is have balance and perspective. So how a speed dating event would have 100 single people in a room together. You get a few minutes with each, and you have conversation, you click with them, and then you move on to the next person. You speak to them, you get to know them, you move on to the next person. And whilst you're there, you may think, oh, he was nice, or he was a bit too quiet for me, I would just overpower him, or he was very angry, I don't like angry people. You can judge and weigh up all the different attributes of people that you meet, to then when it comes to finding the right person, you will know what you're looking for, because you've seen face to face all of the varieties and choice, much like trying on shoes. You wouldn't just put one pair on and buy it straight away. You would say, well, let me look at that one and that one. Which do I like the most? So, modern dating, I've always felt has been a negative thing, because you are allowing people to be disposable. You are saying, if I don't like this person, I'll move on to the next, with no regard for their feelings or the hurt that you will cause from breaking somebody's heart and replacing them straight away. And I don't think it's fair on that person that you're replacing them with to then fill the shoes of somebody else when you're still hurting over somebody. So there's a lot of cheating in the world, a lot of liars, and a lot of negativity because of online dating. You are spoiled for choice in the sense that you then don't appreciate your choices. So it was something that I was apprehensive about, that I thought, do you know what, I don't want to meet multiple people, but at the same time, I needed to meet multiple people. That's just to go for a coffee or go for a drink, go for a walk, have a conversation. Get to spend time with different people, go on a date, online dating, and actually say, I've spent 20 minutes with this person talking about life. Could I spend another 20 minutes with them? Or shall I go on another date with a different kind of person, with a different way of life, spend 20 minutes with them and see if I like that more or less? So to be open and honest and to say, I'm single and I'm currently dating, I'm getting to know people, I'm conversating with people, meeting up with people, that in itself gives you that perspective. And actually, I then realised the very first person that I picked to go on a date with was completely, outrageously wrong for me. I got on great with him, but at the same time, if I had been in a relationship with him, long term it wouldn't last. It may be nice for a few months, but actually he was the wrong person for me. The second person and the third person, fourth person, they all had attributes that I liked, but also a lot of attributes that were very, very wrong for me. And one person in particular that I went on a date with, we went for food, we went for lunch, which to me is a big deal, going for lunch, far more so than a coffee or a walk. So we had lunch, and I don't smoke, I'm vegan, I love fitness, as you can tell, and he was swearing and smoking and drinking and said, I hope I haven't offended you, doing all these things. And I said, no, of course, you are your own person, do what makes you you. I'm me, and I hope you allow me to do what makes me me. So whilst I don't like smoking, I didn't mind him smoking. Whereas I don't eat meat, I didn't mind him having a steak sat opposite me. When he said he hates fitness and never does it, I thought, okay, well, each to their own. I love fitness. And at that point, I actually realised that even though I didn't mind him being him, long term, I would mind. As a friend, it wouldn't matter. As a husband, that would really impact on my life. It would affect, if I'm saying I'm going to the gym for 2 hours, it'd be like, you might think, well, I hate the gym. Why are you going there for 2 hours? Or if he's smoking all the time and I don't enjoy that, I don't like the smell of it, I would have something I don't enjoy constantly around me. My home would smell of cigarettes, and I would feel that I don't like that. So long term, that would actually be an issue for me. So, I actually realised that whilst it's good to look for somebody different to you, at the same time, if you are polar opposites, yes, sometimes it can work. The majority of the time, it doesn't. So bridge that gap and find somebody that has more in common, but is still an individual. Because you wouldn't want somebody to say yes to everything you ask. You wouldn't want somebody to agree with everything you do or want exactly the same things in life. You need somebody that can bring something to the table, that has their own backbone and personality, not a pushover or somebody that's a doormat. So, and equally, you don't want to be a pushover or a doormat to please somebody else. So it's nice to find somebody that is into fitness, loves eating healthy, is upbeat and outgoing, cheerful. All of those attributes really click with me. But equally, somebody that doesn't need to constantly be in your pocket, that doesn't need to be mothered or showered with affection in order to feel okay. That they're not looking elsewhere for affection or attention, that they are confident in themselves, in their relationship, that actually where they are is where the grass is greenest. Because where you water the grass is where it's going to grow. And if you abandon your relationship, if you treat your partner badly, if you neglect them, if you try to control them, that grass will die. And yes, the grass will appear greener elsewhere, but it's only because you're putting your attention elsewhere. And actually, when you realize what you have in front of you, that's when you can truly appreciate who you're with. So spending that time by myself and getting to know people was massively life-changing for me. It's the first time in my life that I haven't just met somebody, entered into a relationship and seen how it goes, and that actually made me feel quite powerful. I didn't hurt anybody, I didn't mislead anybody. I actually just said, I've recently come out of a relationship, I'm happy to go for a coffee, let's get to know each other, but that is what it is, that's how I feel. I wasn't instantly saying I'm going to fall in love, or I'm going to shower you with text messages and be really full on and needy, because I'm not that kind of person anyway. So I almost had my walls up in that sense, that I wasn't looking for a relationship, I was almost looking for research, as odd as that sounds, to be able to say, this is the way that people are, and this is what I'm capable of putting up with, if that makes sense. It really sounds quite negative, but actually it was a really, really good experience for me, and I had some really fun times. We got drunk, had food, went and did outrageous things, and it was wonderful, and I highly recommend everybody does that. And I purposely stayed single for months and months and months, knowing that I needed to experience life, that I wasn't ready to rush into a relationship when I wasn't 100% sound in my freedom. Because I think when you do then enter into a relationship, you obviously have to consider somebody else's opinions, their emotions, and their needs and desires. And that may not completely align with your own. So actually you're going to do things that you probably wouldn't necessarily normally do. You're going to say things that you don't 100% mean, but it makes the other person feel better. And you're going to have plans that you would never have planned before. Going to events and occasions of things that maybe you don't like, but that you're doing to please somebody else. Went and bent over backwards for somebody else. I wanted to enjoy doing cartwheels by myself, and I certainly did enjoy that, and I've had the most amazing summer of my bloody life. It's been incredible. Despite 2020 has been the most incredible year for me, and it's wholeheartedly worth all of the heartbreak and suffering that I had to go through in order to get that change and difference and that peace and freedom that I have now. And so since being single for all of those months and finding myself, I have actually met somebody lovely, and it was something I really wasn't expecting. Again, I had my walls rather high, and I was happy to just go for coffee and get to know somebody and talk about life. No apprehensions or intentions, just to spend time with somebody. And then I very quickly began to realize that the person I was around, I felt safe with, that I wasn't looking at them in a different light to what they were saying. Because I think a lot of people, they BS, they try to put on a bravado, they try to impress you, to say things they don't really mean, and wear clothes they don't normally wear, and be extravagant and flamboyant when they're not normally, just to entice you into a relationship. And then when they've got you, like us girls, we take our makeup off and we wear baggy clothes and we stop making an effort. So I think a lot of people are not themselves when they first meet you, and it takes time for them to gradually ease out of their shell, and to actually be who they really are. So when I was around guys, I used the word F-boy. I thought, I don't trust you, I don't believe you, I don't feel safe with you, I think you are a stereotypical player. You're gorgeous to look at, and I have so much fun being around you, but let me think about this. I would be absolutely devastated in a relationship with you because you wouldn't put me first. You wouldn't, well, not that you have to put anybody else first, but in the sense that they would just be after every single person with a pulse, which, we all know people like that. So I thought, whilst you're throwing charm at me by the bag load, I don't feel safe. And actually, you're a nice person to be around. Yes, I get on really well with you. Yes, I'm attracted to you. no, I don't see a future with you, so why even begin a relationship? And that's where I have learned this year. You know, normally I would say, God, he's gorgeous. Oh my God, he's perfect. He's so funny. He's great. We've got so much in common. And then I would ignore all the warning signs, hoping that this was enough to make the relationship survive. Actually, the warning signs are what you must base a relationship on. You must say, if this goes off, that goes off, that goes off, could I live with that? If he cheated, could I forgive him? If he was angry towards me, could I accept that? Could I talk him round to calm him down? You know, these kind of things that you look at that you hope won't happen, you actually have to prepare for the eventuality of them happening, knowing that you have a plan for that. Like when you get on a plane, you know, you go on holiday, you're all excited to be away, and right before you take off they say, hey, if we crash, put your jacket on, blow a whistle, and someone will come and save you. You know, so you're saying it's unlikely we're going to crash, but you do have to know if we do crash, this is what you should do. So look at the relationship for the warning signs. And actually then, as I spent time with different people, I realized, yes, I was attracted to the people I went on dates with. Yes, I could easily spend hours talking to them, doing nice things with them, getting to know them. And yes, I could date all of them, but no to the warning signs that I saw. And it wasn't until this one person that I was around actually showed me that the warning signs were so minuscule. I mean, like, I can't even name warning signs because I don't see any at the moment, that I realised this person is the right person. And that really crept up on me. I wasn't expecting it. And that's when I thought, oh my God, it just clicked. And I thought, I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready to let somebody into my life. So for me, that's been 6 months. But for everybody else, you know, sometimes some people can heal very quickly. Some people may take years. It really does depend on you as an individual, how much you cared about that person, how much suffering you'd already been through to that point where it ended, where you feel that sense of relief or you feel that sense of sinking sadness. You know, for me, 6 months was a good time to be by myself, to heal and to drop the baggage and pain from past relationships, to then be able to say, I am ready for somebody that deserves me and that I deserve them. And it's been absolutely lovely. It's just really, really nice. I'm free to be myself. I have my foundations hard and firm set, in the sense that I know what I want and I like, and I'm living my life for me rather than being told what to do or held back. So meeting somebody at that point where I have my self-esteem and self-confidence back, that's the right point to fully be myself. Whereas if I was still healing and if I was still feeling rubbish about myself and not believing in myself, that this person would think that that's how I am. No, that's a process that you go through to then grow and rebuild and become stronger. So I have completed that process before I met that person. And equally, I'm happy in my life. I have a beautiful family, a job that I love, and I live my everyday smiling and laughing and being happy and healthy and doing what makes me me. So I'm so fortunate for that I don't need somebody to fill a gap, because there are no gaps. My life is everything I could dream of and more. So the addition of somebody in my life is being able to share that with somebody. It's not somebody creating that happiness or security or contentment. It's somebody being able to enjoy it with me, that's already there and exists of its own accord. So yeah, it's actually really lovely. It's early days, obviously. You know, you have that honeymoon period in every relationship where you're all just really lovely and cuddly and kissy and just romantic, and you make an effort and you get dressed up and do nice things. You know, I don't see why that ever has to disappear in a relationship. I don't think that it doesn't have to last. I think that could be a lifetime if you're with the right person. If you're with somebody that's wrong for you, that it was just based purely on chemistry and not an intellectual connection, then I think it will only ever be temporary and not long term. Personally, I don't see a reason why you would ever have to stop being enthusiastic about being with the partner that you're with. I think if you love them, you will love them for a lifetime. And yeah, you can help each other go through good times and bad times and grow together, but equally be individuals at the same time. And it's just a journey. We never know how long we have with somebody. You could have a day or the rest of your life. You just have to cherish every moment and make the most of it and see it for the blessing that it truly is. Because, you know, nothing is a promise, nothing is given. We just have to take every single day as a blessing. So that's where I'm at 6 months on from my breakup. We are in the second lockdown in the UK, and actually I'm loving life. You know, it isn't as scary or as sad or as frightening as the start of lockdown when my whole world changed. I'm actually really optimistic, enthusiastic, and effervescent for life. I love how the year has ended compared to where it started, but it's the bit in between that has made me so thankful. And without the lows, we could never appreciate the highs. So I just wanted to show you the difference that 6 months makes to your mindset, to your outlook on life, and your positivity and happiness. If I can give any advice to anybody going through a breakup, time is a healer, and it's the hardest thing to hear from people when you are suffering, because you just want to kind of scream and shout and throw your hands in the air because nobody understands what you were going through. But time is a healer, and it does get better. Each day that you are away from that pain is one step closer to freedom. And as I say, for me, 6 months was the perfect amount of time for me to be able to say, do you know what? It's okay. It is okay to let people into your life and to be able to be you and to be happy and to be an authentic individual whilst somebody else can be happy in themselves also. It's finding that right match and not just settling for the first person that you see or that you get on with or that gives you attention. And that's where I think I'd always gone wrong in life. But lesson learned. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, write me a comment, and keep watching for more.